Take two. Here we are. Bring the heat.
Yeah.
I'm your host, Steve, joined by Joe. Yes, this is take two. I messed up the first take for the intro. I'm not going to mess it up. I'm not going to disappoint my viewers. Here we are to discuss the results of the NFL draft from 2021. It is currently Saturday, so we were in the third day earlier today. I think it was rounds 4 through 7. And we really just want to go over the picks. If you watched the last video, which I put up on the channel, we each alternated between each pick to see where each guy we thought would go. And we were both like wildly incorrect, at least with the top 10. It was pretty bizarre. But I'm gonna list the teams and who they picked, and we're gonna just jump right into it. All right, so number one, the Jaguars chose Trevor Lawrence, quarterback from Clemson. Nobody thought it was gonna be somebody else, right? I mean, it was gonna be that was the most
Yeah,
guaranteed pick, I
that was
think,
obvious.
in the entire
Yeah,
draft. Number two, the
everybody knew.
Jets picked Zach Wilson. That was another one where people figured they'll probably go there.
That was
Uh, the
that was pretty much
49ers
guaranteed there
took
too.
Trey Lance, which did surprise me. The Falcons took Kyle Pitts, tight end, probably the most talented person in the draft. The Bengals took Jamar Chase, wide receiver from LSU. The Dolphins took Jalen Waddle, receiver from Alabama. Detroit Lions took Penei Sewell, the tackle from Oregon. Panthers took J.C. Horn, the corner from South Carolina. Broncos took Pat Surtain. Eagles traded up into the top 10, so they moved up 2 spots, traded with the Cowboys, and they drafted Devontae Smith, a wide receiver from Alabama. Now, that was the first top 10. Now, Joe and I both I at least had the first two correct. And he said that, like, he reminded me that the Jets, he predicted were going to pick Trey Lance. And honestly, like, to start this conversation off, I am actually shocked that the 49ers did not go. I mean, my original pick was Justin Fields. I thought they were going to either go Fields or, like, even just like Mac Jones, because that was another name in, like, the rumor mill. And them picking Trey Lance, I think
So
that's solid.
I knew I knew they weren't going to go Fields because Fields was dropping in the rankings. Some predicted he was going to go late first round, which I don't know why. But I know there was big talks with 49ers. They loved Mac Jones, but they also liked Trey Lance. And I think, for me personally, I think Trey Lance is a better quarterback than Mac Jones. I think they realized that too, and then realized like Trey. This might not be a starting situation right away, so it would give Trey Lance time to build up and perform better than what he would do starting. Because I know Jimmy G is going to get the starting job, but when he gets injured again, Trey Lance will be here.
Yeah, I love that you're predicting that.
I'm not high on Mac Jones.
Most people
Yeah,
aren't,
he's
honestly.
gonna get injured.
Most people aren't. Um, obviously, as a Patriots fan, I'm happy that he went 15. Um, but originally, I thought they were going to get Justin Fields earlier. I thought they were going to trade into the top 10 because I thought they would have had to, but they didn't. And so they
Who
stayed.
with the Patriots?
Yeah, I originally thought they were going to trade up to 3 with the 49ers.
So I think the thing that saved them is the Atlanta Falcons not taking the quarterback. Because if it went quarterback first 4, they would have to trade the top 10 to get him. Easily trade the top 10.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
Because like the Bears traded up. That's all it was going to come down to, who Atlanta took. That's what everybody behind Atlanta was waiting for. The Bengals were waiting for that. Miami was waiting for that. And so was Chicago and the Patriots. They waited to see what they did. And Patriots knew since they didn't take a quarterback, nobody else was going to take a quarterback, so they could sit back and relax. Besides the Broncos, I mean, if the Broncos took a quarterback, then maybe they had to start thinking, hey, do we move up or stay back? But luckily, they got him at 15.
Yeah, and another thing I thought was interesting was the Bengals not going Penei Sewell, because that was who I thought in my head they were going to take. But that was actually one I had correct. If you recall, when we did our mock draft, I had Bengals taking Jamar Chase at 5, and I mean, you got the LSU connection right between him and Joe Burrow, and I think there's definitely something to be said about that. Like he's a good receiver. I'm not denying that in any regard, but I think that I still feel like they need that like tackle or something. So I think, but for right now, I think that was actually a really solid pick.
Well, they don't care about Joe Burrow's safety. They they just want playmakers on the team.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, and I get it, but the guy got hurt last year, and he's your franchise quarterback. You should be protecting him. Like he's your guy. You need to protect him.
Yeah, I agree. You need to get something out there to protect him because right now they have nothing on that line to do anything to help Joe Burrow.
Exactly.
He's gonna be running for his life. His life last year, and he's probably gonna run for his life this year too. So like, I don't. I mean, I like the Jamar Chase pick, but for your team, I think you need a lineman there.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it pans out, right? I think for any of these teams. I mean, because Detroit took Penei Sewell, so like that's a great pick. And again, that was one I had correct because in my logic in him going there was same thing for Joe Burrow. Like you need somebody to protect that quarterback position, and I think it's sometimes it's just so like left in the dust. Like nobody considers that, and it's like, yeah, they need weapons, and I'm not, disagreeing with
Yeah,
that premise, but like you still need more. And obviously, I don't think anybody has the Lions making even playoffs, doing anything in terms of like winning. Uh, but I think that if they can just establish some type of offensive line, then that's one less issue that you got to worry about. And at this point, now you just need to get some weapons for Jared Goff because he might be their quarterback for the future.
I agree 100%. I think that's what they were going with when they traded for Jared Goff. But what's up?
Oh no, you're good.
Did you say something, Steve?
No, you're good.
Oh, okay. I think that was the whole thing. I think that was the whole thing for them trading for Jared Goff was to build around him and hopefully in the future do something with that. Because Jared Goff was good and then he kind of went downhill a little bit. I mean, just a little work and a little help, I think he would be fine.
Yeah, I mean overall, that whole team is.
What do you think about
weird division?
Yeah, I agree 100% on that one. Though that team is a little weird, but I thought they was gonna go defense there to give a little bit of help on the defensive side of the ball because they struggle a little bit, but they didn't.
Yeah, I think. I mean, if you go down just one pick, Carolina taking J.C. Horn. I had them taking Micah Parsons, but I think everybody, for the most part, figured they were going to pick a defensive guy. I think it was either probably between those two guys would be like the main candidates. So I guess I wasn't entirely wrong in my thinking for putting him at 8, but he only went 4 picks later to the Cowboys, so it's not like a huge drop. But they're still good, and that defense definitely gets bolstered, right? You can either get a guy in the secondary like they did, or you get a linebacker, and either or, it's fine.
Yeah, so I think with that pick, I knew they were gonna go corner on that one, and I like Horn a lot. I think Horn is a little bit more faster than Patrick Surtain. I think that's why they went Horn over Surtain, and I feel like Horn is more built for the NFL than Surtain is right now. So they need a plug-in guy right now than later on.
Yeah, and that's kind of interesting because Patrick Surtain goes to the next pick, and you're just kind of like, at least for me when I was watching it, I was actually surprised that Denver didn't want to go quarterback because I had them taking Trey Lance. I honestly thought Trey Lance was going to fall down just a little bit, but like that's crazy to me that they still don't have a quarterback. I mean, yeah, you have Drew Lock, right? But are you really keeping Drew Lock? No. I don't think anybody thinks Drew Lock's going to be their starter game one. And like that is still a gaping issue. And their offense isn't bad, right? Like they have an okay offense. So like if they get a quarterback, you're in a good spot. So I was kind of surprised that they went corner on that one.
Well, they did just trade for Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, true.
So they got Teddy, I'm pretty sure, on their team, and I think if Trey Lance fell to them, we're gonna 100% take Trey Lance. Since he did, I don't think they wanted to make any moves up to get a quarterback since they just got Teddy Bridgewater. But if one of them top three that got drafted in 1, 2, and 3 was gonna fall to them, I think then they would have pulled the plug to get one. But since none of them did, I don't think they were high in Mac Jones, and I don't think they really wanted Justin Fields. So I think that's why they held off on, because I know they were high in Trey Lance, and I think that's why they held
Yeah, I
off on
think
that,
that
because they got Teddy
kinda-
Bridgewater in case if they don't follow my plans.
yeah, exactly. I think that is interesting, right? I mean, even though you might need a quarterback, you're not really looking at those two. Like most teams were not high on Mac Jones, and yeah, like you said, Justin Fields was even slipping out of the top 10. So it was weird. Like even though you need a quarterback, it felt like there wasn't urgency to take one of those two, and I felt that was just a little weird for me. Like I feel like you gotta like pull the trigger on one of them, even if you don't love how good they are. They're all pretty good quarterbacks, and especially like Denver right now is like a disaster. Like their team is just going in different directions, and like you need somebody to just start the whatever you want to call it, the rebuild or retool. Like you got to start somewhere.
No, I agree with you 100%, but I think so. I think they took a cornerback in this position because when they when they went to the Super Bowl last time, it was mostly the defense that carried them. They
Yeah,
had like one of the best defenses players, and I don't think they thought of Justin Fields or Mac Jones being the future. So I think they started building the defense now with Sertain and let him build up to be a great corner that he's gonna be for when they get their starting quarterback. Their defense is already filled and already ready for like a Super Bowl type thing. You know what I mean? I
yeah,
think that's what their thinking was going into this pick. Because if you talk to people, some people are not even high in Justin Fields because there's this whole Ohio State quarterbacks never make it.
yeah.
But I mean, you can't live by that. But who knows? Some people are good. I think he's going to be a decent quarterback. I don't think anything crazy, but I think he would be good.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. I think they'll all be pretty good. I think they're all. I don't know if we're gonna see like Hall of Fame talent from them. Obviously, it's like way too early to even like predict that. But like they can probably play in the NFL. They're probably gonna be able to, as long as they stay healthy and like they're not nothing like hinders their progress, they'll be okay. Um, and I think probably the biggest shock, at least for some of our Eagles fans or Eagle friends that are fans of the Eagles. There we go. God damn, I can't speak today. They are super happy that the Eagles traded up and actually made a good selection in Devontae Smith. And now, obviously, Harry Roseman's notable for reaching purposely, like not picking the best person in like available for that position, especially the last couple years, um, like receiver wise. And yeah, I think this was a very good pick. Obviously, won the Heisman last year. He's a little undersized, right? 6'1". I think they said 166 pounds. So he's a little undersized for a receiver, but him and Jalen Hurts have chemistry. And I think like this selection was just critical. And you've seen that they traded with the Cowboys to move up one spot ahead from the Giants. They knew the Giants wanted Devontae Smith. So they said, we need to get ahead of them on that one.
So I thought about it and I was like, why did they trade? Blah, blah, blah. Like it was one spot. And then I realized the Giants, I was like, yeah, they could went quarterback there, but I mean wide receiver there, but I didn't really know what the Giants were thinking because they could have went anywhere, you know what I mean? And I think when the Eagles moved up and then I seen the Giants trade it back, I realized like the Giants won it. Devontae Smith, hands down. Which trade back was awesome for them because they won it in the end after because nobody before them picked a wide receiver, so they got exactly what they wanted after Devontae Smith got taken. So I think that was great for the Giants. Good for the Eagles trading up because I'm shocked how we decided, hey, let's do something with this team instead of joking around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I love the Cowboys pick. Love it.
Yeah, the Cowboys moving back to 12 to get Micah Parsons. I thought that was another interesting spot because originally, again, I had them staying in their position, taking Patrick Surtain. So again, I think another team where people pretty much had them locked in to take somebody on defense because that defense was horrible last year. So it was probably between those two guys again, depending like who was left. But now you got Micah Parsons, Jalen Smith, Leighton Vander Esch. That is a crazy trio of linebackers. Like that defense is like
So
great.
So I think the thinking with them was if they couldn't get the top two cornerbacks, Horn or Sertain, I think that made them decide, let me trade back, get an extra pick. And I think they took Parsons because Sean Lee just retired.
Yeah.
So I think they were like, let's take a dive and get Mika Parsons. Because Parsons could cover a tight end too, because he's so fast too. Like he's quick, he's big. And in that league, Eagles got a decent tight end in Goddard, and Giants got a great tight end in Evan Ingram. So I think the only option was to take him.
Yeah, and I mean, I think like especially the Eagles. I think this draft was crucial, and that whole division now is starting to really like bolster up, right? I mean, like last year we were making jokes like they're the NFC least, right? Like they're the worst division in football. All the teams are so bad.
Yeah.
It's like somebody's guaranteed to make a playoff just because you win the division. And I think that between the Cowboys strengthening up their defense, the Eagles actually getting a legit receiver who is immediately their best receiver, and it's not even close. And the Giants, who actually they would trade their pick, yeah, because like you said, they traded back because at that point they realized, hey, we kind of wanted him, but they moved back to 20, I believe. Yeah, and they picked Kadarius Toney, so they picked the receiver anyway.
Yeah, they got 20.
Yeah,
Love that pick.
Yeah, they picked the receiver anyway, but it still shows that like the Eagles had an idea. They had some intuition that like the Giants wanted that and they were gonna stick it to Big Blue. Dallas had no problem whatsoever making that trade happen. And quite frankly, I think both the Eagles and the Cowboys made out. Giants, I mean, it's still not a bad pick. I mean, like he's like Tony's still a good receiver, right? I mean,
He is a great receiver. I watched some of his tapes and I watched him when he was playing for Florida. He could work on a little bit of his route running and a little bit of his hands, but he is quick. When he has the ball in his hands, he's so agile. He can get through defenders like it's nothing. I think that was a great pick, only because they have John Ross, who's like they have Kenny Galladay, and they still have help me out. Who's the other receiver?
Sterling Shepard.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. And they still have Sterling Shepard. So I think Tony fits in very well.
Yeah, and I think if we look at you go down a little bit in the draft. So yeah, so my New England Patriots at 15, we took quarterback Mac Jones. Now, I think it's weird because he's got a similar build to Tom Brady, right? Not like super athletic, doesn't have a great arm, isn't like especially accurate. He's just like he's the base model, I think, for a quarterback. But with that being said, I think this is another Tom Brady situation. I'm not saying it's gonna be the GOAT, but I'm just saying like if he can study the playbook and just be able to like make those like short passes, move the ball, get those first downs, like like I think he is actually a great fit now. After looking at some tape, trying to get a feel for like exactly how he plays and how he's going to fit into the system. Obviously, I think this year Cam will probably start at least unless he does bad or you know gets hurt or something. But for the most part, I think everybody expects Cam to start. Um, but Mac Jones next year, it's definitely going to be his team, and I'm really excited.
I wasn't a big fan of this pick. I mean, they need a quarterback. I understand. Obviously, you got to pull the plug on Mac Jones, hope for the best. But Mac Jones is really inaccurate. He got bailed out a lot by his receivers last year, like making jump balls. I mean, obviously, it can be accurate sometimes at some point, but I don't think he has the receivers on the Patriots team to help bail him out, which I think he's going to struggle his first couple of years until they get him weapons. I don't know. I just wasn't a big fan. I mean, I guess that's what Bill was thinking. Like he could be like the next Tom Brady. But when Tom Brady came out of college, he was pretty accurate, pretty good passer. I don't see that in Matt Jones, and I don't see him performing well on the NFL level. But who knows? Could shock me, change my mind. We will see. We will really see.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting, and I know that you and Nick, both huge Dolphins fans, were upset to see that Najee Harris was taken at pick number 24 by the Pittsburgh Steelers. And what is your opinion on that? Right, like how do you feel the fact that Miami didn't get them?
So I'm not mad because if we took Najee, a defensive end position would still be a little struggle and we would get ran all over. So I'm happy that we drafted Phillips with the 16th pick, 19th, 18th pick, and I'm happy with that. But I was more mad that we couldn't get Javante Williams in yesterday's draft. How the Broncos traded up right in front of us to take him. That happened last year with us too, when we were going for J.K. Dobbins and Baltimore traded up right in front of us to take him. I mean, Najee, I knew was going in the first round. So if we didn't get him at 18, I knew we were gonna get him. But I feel like the defensive end position was a more filled than it would be running back because we still got Gaskins and we just got Malcolm Brown. Um, I think they can handle the role for this year, maybe next year, maybe who knows? We maybe even sign Le'Veon Bell off free agency because I'm pretty sure he's on there. But I'm not that mad at the pick. Not mad at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think you made a good point, right? That like that offense, and especially now that they got Jalen Waddle, I think like Tua, I think will be a good enough quarterback to facilitate. I mean, I haven't seen enough personally to establish how great his potential is or how high it is, but you got so Tua's gonna have Jalen Waddle, Devontae Parker, Mike Gesicki, Will Fuller, and then yeah, like you said, you still have Miles Gaskin,
Preston
Malcolm
Williams.
Brown. Yeah, and it's
You've got Preston Williams.
yeah, Breastwoods. It's like okay, wow, that's like actual that's like a legit offense. I mean, I could
And then we
probably go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say, and then we drafted the tight end in the 81st pick. I actually forget his name.
Uh, Hunter
From
Long.
Boston College. God, I
Yeah,
can't think of it.
yeah, Hunter Long.
Yeah, Hunter Long. That's it. We drafted Hunter. That's not a bad because we're thinking of running RPOs all year, which he would be great for because he's a good run blocker and a good pass blocker, and he also can catch a ball too if we need him to, which I think is really good. But I don't know. We will see. We got two weapons. The running back situation is a little shaky. Hopefully, we get Jarrett Patterson in what pick are we in? A couple picks, hopefully. But we will see. I mean, I like what we're doing. I really do. I think we're changing our team around. Last year we looked good. I think we would be fine.
Yeah, and I think as we discussed here, like these first 10 to 15 picks or so, it's obvious, right? I mean, we've seen a lot of guys succeed in the second, third, fourth round, like plus, like you're not guaranteed to be great in the first round. I mean, so it's not your team shouldn't hinge on the fact that your first round pick needs to like carry you to a Super Bowl, right? So I think for most of these teams, like a
Yeah.
lot of a lot of
Besides Jacksonville Jaguars.
exactly, because at that point, like their position, and that's the problem. The Jaguars were good a few years ago. Their defense was insane. So they're not a complete dysfunction in Jacksonville. But the New York Jets could not be a more dysfunctional franchise. I swear to God. I can't like I cannot understate how bad of a franchise they are and how poorly run they are. Because it's like, hey, we need to rebuild. Okay, fine, let's rebuild. Go get 3 wins a season. We'll do that for 5 years. And then draft your guy because you're gonna have the first round pick for like 25 straight years. Get your first round pick, and then don't give them any weapons, and then trade them, and then we're just gonna restart this every 4 or 5 years. And it's just like,
I'm I'm actually really proud of them.
me too.
I'm actually really proud of them because after they drafted Zach Wilson, they took a offensive guard in Vera Tucker, and then they went wide receiver in Elijah Moore, and then they took Michael Carter as a running back. So they're at least trying to build around him. At least they're giving it a shot. But will it work? Who knows? Who knows? We will see. I I think Zach Wilson is going to get put in a shitty situation, and I don't know.
I think it's the same. Honestly, it's almost an identical situation to Sam Darnold. It's just in the year 2021. I think we're in the same headspace that, like, hey, Sam Darnold didn't have any weapons, was a decent quarterback. It'll be the same thing with Zach Wilson. Decent quarterback, doesn't have any weapons. But like you said, they did get Elijah Vera Tucker and the other player that you had named. So they are building, right?
Elijah Moore.
Yeah. And so they are building towards a better team. So, I am proud of them for that. I like seeing them like not be stupid, sort of like the Eagles pick, right? Like, congratulations, you did the thing you had to do. Like, we're proud. Everybody in the league, everybody who was watching
And then
was actually proud of you.
and then they fucked it up after they took Devontae Smith.
Yeah, and then the guy who came in to announce their next pick said, "Yeah, so newly picked up receiver Devontae Davis." I was on my phone and I looked up at my TV. I said, "Who the hell is Devontae Davis?" And at first I thought he said Levante David. I was like, Levante David. I'm like, he's still in Tampa. I'm like, when did you? I honestly thought I missed like a complete round. I was so confused. And then apparently, everybody in our group was just kind of like talking about it. And I read about it on Twitter. I was like, oh, okay. So it wasn't me just hearing something. All right. Jesus. But yeah, I mean, I think, there's a lot of teams here that they're trying to rebuild. This is what the draft's for, right? You're here to, you got to get some high quality players, right? The NFL is made so the worst teams of the year, the previous year, get the highest draft picks, and it reverses, right? So like the best team like Tampa Bay and like Kansas City, they're not going to be in the high first round. So I like the design of the draft, but I also don't believe that your team should hinge everything on the draft solely, right? Like you still need like pieces that are good now. Because again, we've seen so many busts and people who are just injury prone, and
Absolutely.
there's just so many factors here that like unless you're the Jets, the Jaguars, like those are the only two teams I could honestly make a case for. Like it needs to hinge on like this
Yeah.
draft, right?
I mean, Jacksonville ain't terrible. They just need a couple of pieces. I don't know. They confused me with their second taking Travis Etienne. I don't get it. I don't understand it, but I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, so this has been a pretty good episode, right? I mean, we're really just doing a recap of the draft. We wanted to That's why we recorded these episodes close together because I want people to just you can watch them and they're pretty short. We can, we can condense it and make it a little more entertaining. So I think my hot take for this episode was I'm really proud of the Jets. I am entirely proud of them. Division rival.
I am also.
Like it's like
They
it's Jets and
made a
Eagles.
case for themselves in rebuilding.
Jets and Eagles.
No, not the Eagles.
Even the Eagles. Jets
Not
and
the
Eagles.
Eagles.
You've earned my respect. Not really. You still need to get my respect because you need to put some wins together. You're both gonna get 3 or 4 wins this year,
Oh,
and that ain't
man.
gonna cut it. So we're in for a great year. Anyhow, Joe, it has been
Oh,
fantastic. It's
man.
been a beautiful day outside. It is great. Start of the week, May 1st. Yeah, I think we're gonna, we'll probably wait like another like 2 or 3 weeks, see what picks up in the news, any trades, anything like that. But we can continue with the NFL discussion. We'll go in baseball, anything doesn't matter to me. But anyhow, it's been great having you. Any last words for the fans?
Let's go Dolphins.
That's not what I wanted to hear. Do not let's go Dolphins me. Oh my goddamn. This is not not a Dolphins podcast. We don't do that shit here. Go Pats.